Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mocha Stories. Chapter 2: Alcoholic Courage. The vibrations being pushed out of the speakers ricocheted through Reese's body. She could barely hear herself think, but honestly, she didn't want to. Her body felt really light, and her hips whined to the surrounding vibrations. She wanted to feel like this for as long as possible. Khalil was close by, flirting with some girl. He and his group of friends formed a small circle close to the bar. Reese knew most of them and noted how some of them made it very obvious that they found her attractive, but she didn't pay them any mind. Regardless of the fact that she had a boyfriend, she also had a rule that she would not fool around with any of her cousin's friends. Things could get messy fast, and she wasn't one for unnecessary drama. After the current song switched to who she called that demographic pleaser, Reese headed to the bar to get another drink. A vodka cran needed to continue to pump through her veins so her thoughts wouldn't head towards that weird conversation she had before. She flagged down the bartender and shouted her order at him, her voice weakly competing with the bass vibrating in the air. "Vodka? I would have thought you were a tequila girl." That voice in her ear was immediately recognizable. Reese sucked in a breath while turning her head to meet his chocolate brown eyes. Juke. "What would make you think that?" Reese retorted. "Just a hunch." Not sure if it was the alcohol or if she was having a moment, Reese noted how good he looked. A gold chain hung around his neck, complementing his rich, darker hue. He had on a black dress shirt that highlighted the strength in his arms. The top button was undone, allowing the tattoo on his shoulder to play a seductive game of peekaboo. "I drink both, for your information. Tonight is just a vodka night." "Why is that?" Juke leaned in. His musk cologne teased Reese's nose, and she fought the urge to inhale harder. "Damn, he smells good," she thought to herself. Long story. Reese tried to keep it short with him so he would take the hint, and luckily for her, the bartender showed up with her drink. "Thank you," she shouted again. She turned to head back over to where Khalil was, but came face to face with Juke's chest. She could see the outline of his shoulder tattoo more clearly now. It was a set of wings, large wings. Cliché, but on his skin, she thought they looked good. She looked up at his face to find him staring intently down at her. What are you doing?" she breathed out. His lips curved upward, and he motioned towards the bar. "I'm trying to get a drink." Reese quickly snapped out of her trance and moved to the side so he could move past her. She cursed herself, sipped her drink, and returned to where Khalil's group was. Khalil was now grinding on a different girl, and his friends all seemed to be entertaining themselves with some girls as well. So she looked for a place where she could turn her back and started to dance. The vodka recharged her veins, and her hips quickly found the beat. She felt so free in this moment, and in the next, there was a tingly feeling on the back of her neck. She opened her eyes and scanned the area, only to see Juke laughing with Khalil, but looking directly at her. Reese tried to ignore him and focus on the dancing, but his stare was getting too intense. Heat was starting to spread throughout her body, and so were some feelings of guilt. She downed the rest of her drink and took off towards the side patio doors of the club. A nice cool breeze kissed her face, and the tension in her shoulders relaxed. She shuffled towards one of the empty chairs and sat down. There was no running from it now. The thoughts she had been avoiding were now demanding to be acknowledged. She tilted her head back and let the breeze kiss her face. She sighed in content, even though her mind was a chaotic mess. She felt a presence loom over her. Not malicious, but it was definitely focused on her. Reese slowly opened her eyes and brought her head back to center. "You're staring," she stated. "Sorry. Khalil was searching for you, and I told him I would check," Juke stated. "Why?" Reese asked. "You seemed off. You okay?" "Yes, I'm fine." Reese's tone was clipped, and she had to remind herself to calm down. It was only a question. Juke still stood over her, quietly observing. "You sure? I don't mean to pry, just everyone's in there having fun, and you're out here, alone. I just have a lot on my mind. No big deal." After a few moments of contemplating, Juke sat next to Reese and took a sip of his drink. "Want to talk about it?" "No." "Okay." They both sat in silence, just looking at the party inside the club. What does it mean when a man expresses confusion about the status of their relationship while reiterating how much they love their woman? "What do you mean, confused about the status?" Reese wasn't sure how to answer that because she didn't understand it herself. But she tried her best to explain it. "I guess that he is confused about whether the relationship will last. I'm not too sure." Juke leaned back and looked at her with raised eyebrows, and in that moment she knew that what he was about to say would not be something she wanted to hear. "You want the honest answer?" "No," the voice in her mind stated. "Yes," she responded. "Men don't get confused. We know. And when we know, the woman we're dealing with will know, because we will do whatever it takes to make sure it does last," Juke stated. Reese tilted her head up again to redirect her tears back into her eyelids. She made sure to avoid his glances and took some breaths. "You said you had a boyfriend, right? This about him?" Reese silently shook her head yes and continued to look up at the sky. "Well, I don't want to overstep, but you deserve better." Reese's head snapped to him so fast she felt herself get a little dizzy. "Excuse me? No disrespect, truly, but you are too beautiful to be dealing with any sort of confusion. You deserve someone sure about you, loud about you, here with you right now." "He is sure about me. He does love me," Reese snapped. Juke raised his hands in surrender. "I didn't mean any harm. We are just having a moment, but we're fine. Thank you anyway for your insight." "Anytime." A silence rose between the two, and they both focused on finishing their drinks. "Are you coming back inside? I can buy you another drink." Reese almost refused, but she figured she could use another drink. Plus, she didn't want to sit wallowing in sadness, especially since she knew Khalil would be the next person to come looking for her. "Sure, I'll be in there in a minute," Reese responded. Juke gave her a small smile and went back inside towards the bar. Reese took another deep breath, pushed her worries to the back of her mind again, and went back inside, ready to dance it off. The hours went by and everyone in the group had sweat sticking to their skin. Reese felt like she had never laughed and danced so much in her life. Once she got back inside, Juke bought her a drink. Khalil locked into her energy and immediately made it his mission to change it. She was grateful for him, and dare she say, she was grateful for Juke too. He didn't dwell on their talk earlier. Instead, he made sure she was laughing and that the group danced to almost every song that was played. She appreciated his efforts and understood why Khalil had him as a friend. The last song of the night was playing, and Khalil wanted everyone to take a picture. Reese and the boys all squeezed together with big smiles and their drinks in hand. After the flash, Reese felt Juke give her a small squeeze. When she looked up, she saw Juke smiling and staring down at her. Suddenly, she felt pressure on her lips. Then it was gone. She froze. It happened so fast that she wasn't even sure if it had really happened. She could hear her heart pounding in her ears and felt her body temperature rise. He gave her a wink and then went to talk to Khalil about possible after-hours plans. Reese stood in the same spot as her fight or flight instincts began to kick in. "Smack him," a voice in her head urged. "Get the hell out of there," another voice demanded. After a few more seconds of fighting her shock, Reese went up to Khalil, who opened his mouth to most likely ask her to come with them to the next place, and bluntly bade him goodbye. Shock decorated his features, but before he could respond, Reese turned and headed for the exit of the club. She could hear Khalil calling out to her, but she kept her quickened pace towards the door. Once outside, she headed toward her car while trying to calm her racing heart. She wasn't crazy. She wasn't drunk. It was indeed a fact. Juke had kissed her. The sun splashed across Reese's face with a vengeance. She groaned in annoyance and squinted her eyes to keep them from blurring. It was early morning. She tapped around to find her phone and see the time, and was greeted with several messages from her boyfriend. He wanted to talk, but she wasn't sure if that was a good idea right now, especially after last night. "That bastard kissed me," she thought to herself. Her boyfriend was already protective enough as it is. Now she was sure he would lose his damn mind. She sat in bed trying to decipher the best way to go about this. The urge to confront him was present, but she had no idea how he would react. She wondered if it would be better for Khalil to handle it. They were friends after all. She let out another groan and plopped her head onto the silk lavender pillow. It was way too early for her anxiety to be this high already, so she decided to go for a run instead. She hoped that would provide some sort of answer for her. She got changed into her running clothes and put on her shoes while constantly redirecting her thoughts to anything but Juke, which was proving to be more difficult by the minute. She plugged in her headphones and turned the music up as loud as she could to block out her thoughts, and headed out the front door. As she ran, images of Juke last night kept flashing in her mind. She tried to focus on anything else, but his smooth, tattoo-covered shoulders, chest, and pearly smile were forcing themselves to the forefront. "Damn it," she exclaimed while slowing down. Reese pulled out her phone and gritted her teeth. She dialed Khalil and tried to catch her breath. Khalil answered on the second ring. "Hello? Khalil, are you busy?" "No, I can talk." "You okay? Why do you sound out of breath?" "Juke kissed me," she blurted out. Her heart raced with the admission and continued to build as the silence on the other end of the line lasted. "What the fuck did you just say?" "You heard me. When did this happen?" His voice went neutral. Reese couldn't tell what he was thinking, and that only heightened her anxiety. "Last night, at the club," Reese sighed. "It was when we were taking the picture. The flash went off and I felt his lips on my face." "Shit. That idiot. Are you okay?" "No, I'm pissed off. I have a boyfriend and he knows that. He is fucking disrespectful, Khalil. I was so caught off guard that I just froze, and now I feel like an idiot." There was some rustling in the background before Khalil's voice came back through. "Do you want me to talk to him?" Reese paused for a moment. It would be easier if he did. She still did not enjoy confrontation. "I don't know. I mean, he is your friend, which is why I called you first." "It's up to you, sis," Khalil trailed off. After a few moments of deliberation, she sighed in defeat. She needed to be the one to confront him and let him know that his actions were not okay. Khalil couldn't fight all her battles for her. "No, I'll do it. He needs to hear it from me. Can you send me his number?" "Yeah, I got you. I'm sorry this happened, Reese. Let me know if I need to jack him up." "Yeah, I will," she chuckled. As soon as she hung up the line, a text message with Juke's number came through. Reese stared at it for what seemed like an eternity. Then she opened up her messages and began typing away. Hi, Juke. Look, I need to address this because last night you were out of line. You know I have a boyfriend, and you still decided to kiss me anyway. That was beyond disrespectful, and I don't play like that. It's clear that you can't respect my boundaries, so I think it's best that we no longer speak. After she sent her message, she suddenly felt a surge of energy flow through her. She decided to continue on her run, and she would deal with Juke when she was done. An hour passed before Reese looked at her phone again. She was freshly showered and starving as a result of her 3-mile run. She glanced at her screen and felt her nerves shoot up as a message from Juke popped up in her notifications history. Reese, I hear you, and I'm sorry. I was drunk and just so caught up in the moment of the night that I didn't even think. I meant no disrespect. I will respect your wishes and keep my distance. Reese let out a long sigh and felt her muscles relax. She placed her phone down and went on with making herself some lunch. There, I said what I needed to say. He was receptive. Now everybody can move on, she thought to herself. But there was still a nagging thought in the back of her mind regarding that man, and she couldn't for the life of her make it go away.